the Mediterranean sea cradle of human civilization, and crossroads of countless cultures. The civilization we explore today, ancient Greece, was born upon this sea. The history and culture of ancient Greece developed around the Mediterranean world. To ancient peoples, the Mediterranean was both a formidable natural barrier and a vast highway of exchange, where ideas and goods flowed freely. Greece, with its mountainous terrain and poor soil, found overland travel difficult and relied instead on the sea for trade and communication. From the 8th century BCE onward, Greeks spread beyond the mainland to the western coast of Asia, Minor and the many islands of the Aegean Sea. Naturally, the sea became not only their livelihood, but also their path to civilization. Yet as population grew and farmland became scarce, they once again turned to the sea, this time to seek new lands. They sailed south to Egypt, west to Sicily and southern Italy, and north to the shores of the Black Sea. Thus began the age of colonization. These colonies were not mere conquests, but centers of cultural exchange. Greece exported wine and olive oil, gaining wealth, and in return imported grain, timber, papyrus, and fine linen. More significant, however, was the exchange of ideas. Greeks absorbed diverse technologies and customs, ironworking from the Hittites, writing from the Phoenicians, coinage from Lydia, and art, architecture, and geometry from Egypt. Even Greek religion bore traces of these encounters. The Phrygian goddess Cybele, the Egyptian Isis, and the Thracian Sabazios were all integrated into Greek belief. The Greeks held deep respect for Egypt's long history and sophisticated culture. They modeled their statues on Egyptian prototypes, creating life-sized human figures, and adopted the columnar styles of Egyptian temples. Yet Greek civilization did not remain a mere imitation. Building on what they learned, the Greeks developed a rational, human-centered worldview. With the rise of the polis, the city-state, came a new idea that human reason could shape society and understand the world. But where did Greek civilization truly begin? The answer lies in the Aegean civilizations. In the late 19th century, archaeologists unearthed astonishing remains on the island of Crete and the Greek mainland, evidence of the Minoan and Mycenaean worlds. The Minoan civilization flourished on Crete from around 2500 to 1400 BCE. Its people, seafarers distinct from the later Greeks, traded actively with Egypt, Syria, and Anatolia, creating a kingdom of the sea. The palaces of Knossos and Vaistos reveal their refined artistry and prosperity. Their writing system, Linear A, remains undeciphered, preserving their mysteries in clay. Around 1400 BCE, this brilliant civilization suddenly vanished, perhaps due to natural disaster, perhaps invasion. Most scholars believe it fell to the rising Mycenaeans from the Greek mainland. The Mycenaean civilization, the first Greek civilization, lasted from about 2000 to 1100 BCE. Its fortified palace cities Mycenae, Tiryns, and Pylos reflect a warrior society. Their script, Linear B, has been deciphered, revealing details of administration and economy. Weapons, fortresses, and war imagery show their martial spirit. Many believe that Homer's Iliad and Odyssey, describing the Trojan War, echo the final phase of this Mycenaean age. By 1100 BCE, however, the Mycenaean world collapsed under invasions by northern Dorians. Greece entered a dark age that lasted nearly 5 centuries. Kingdoms fell, writing disappeared, and trade ceased. Yet this darkness was not total. New migrations and settlements laid the foundations for the Greece of the early Iron Age, the seedbed of the polis and eventually democracy. Polis originally meant fortress, but over time, it came to signify a city and eventually a state. Around the 8th century BCE, city-states known as polis emerged across the Greek mainland and the coast of Asia Minor. Each polis was a small, independent state, consisting of a central city and the surrounding countryside. Greece's rugged mountains made it difficult to form a large, unified kingdom. So numerous polis coexisted as independent entities. Athens, Sparta, Corinth, Syracuse, these small city-states led Greece into its golden age. The rulers of the polis were not kings, it was the citizens themselves. Citizens directly participated in politics and defense, taking pride in being the very foundation of their state. From here, the word politics was born. Yet, not all polis shared the same political system. Sparta developed into an oligarchy, Athens into a democracy, while others adopted aristocratic or tyrannical forms of rule. In the beginning, most polis were aristocracies. A small group of land-owning nobles monopolized power. However, as colonization and trade expanded, new wealthy classes emerged: merchants, craftsmen, and prosperous farmers. These new citizens refused to accept the domination of the nobles. Their challenge gave rise to tyrants' leaders who, backed by the common people, overthrew the aristocracy. Though some ruled as dictators, many tyrants helped resolve class conflicts and pave the way toward democracy, born from the chaos of the Dark Age. The polis was where humans first began shaping society through reason, not divine will. As Aristotle said, man is a political animal. The citizens of ancient Greece designed their own destiny within their communities, and from their thoughts, art, philosophy, and politics arose the very roots of modern civilization. Among the many Greek city-states, two stood out in stark contrast: Athens and Sparta. Athens, the city of the sea, a hub of trade and culture. Sparta, the landlocked warrior state surrounded by plains and mountains. Athens descended from the Ionian Sparta, from the Dorians. In every respect, the two cities were opposites. While Athens developed democracy, Sparta was ruled by a few. In an oligarchic system, they valued discipline over art, obedience over freedom, and the state over individuality. Unlike other polis, Sparta never experienced tyranny. The reason was simple: by conquering neighboring Messenia in the late 8th century BCE, Sparta secured vast lands and slave labor. On this stable foundation, the lawgiver Lycurgus established Sparta's unique political order. Sparta had two kings, but they were not absolute monarchs. In war, they led the army; in peace, their power was symbolic. Political authority lay in three institutions. First, the assembly, composed of male citizens over 30. Second, 5 ephors, elected annually, who oversaw administration and justice, and could even restrain the kings. Third, the Council of Elders, consisting of the 2 kings and 28 senior citizens, which held legislative and judicial powers. Together, these institutions governed Sparta. Spartan society was rigidly hierarchical. At the top were the Spartians, full citizens and warriors beneath them. The Perioikoi, free but non-citizen inhabitants engaged in trade and crafts, and at the bottom, the Helots, enslaved serfs who sustained Sparta's economy. A Spartan's life was wholly dedicated to warfare training. Began at age 7, and communal military life started at 20. For them, life itself was a battlefield. Meanwhile, Athens followed a completely different path. Initially an aristocracy ruled by noble families, Athens underwent social changes as trade and colonization prospered. A new class of wealthy merchants, artisans, and farmers demanded greater political rights. Military transformation also fueled reform. The old cavalry-based aristocratic army gave way to the phalanx, a formation of heavily armed infantry composed of ordinary citizens. Those who fought for the city began to claim their right to govern it, saying, "If we defend our city with our blood, we have the right to take part in its rule." Through these changes, Athenian democracy took shape. Commerce, naval power, and the wealth accumulated through the Delian League strengthened this system, while slave labor gave citizens the leisure to participate in politics. In this context, Solon emerged in the early 6th century BCE to mediate between rich and poor. He divided citizens into 4 classes based on wealth, granting the wealthy eligibility for office and the poor the right to participate in the assembly. He canceled debts, prohibited debt slavery, and reformed the legal and political systems. It was not full equality, but it opened the first door to democracy. During a later period of turmoil, Pisistratus seized power as a tyrant, but promoted trade, distributed land to farmers, and revitalized Athens. His rule, though autocratic, paradoxically strengthened the foundations of democracy. After him, Cleisthenes abolished the old tribal divisions, based on kinship, and reorganized citizens into 10 new tribes based on residence. This reform weakened aristocratic influence and expanded political participation among ordinary citizens, forming the very framework of Athenian democracy. Under Pericles, Athenian democracy reached its peak. He introduced selection by lot for public offices and paid wages for political service, enabling even the poor to hold office. Using the Delian League's treasury, he rebuilt Athens into the most splendid city in the world, erecting the Parthenon as a symbol of its glory. Art, philosophy, and democracy all flourished during this era. Yet this democracy was far from complete. Only free men over the age of 20 could vote. Women, foreigners, and slaves were excluded. Athenian liberty was not universal, it was the freedom of citizens only. Around this time, another great power arose in the east, the Persian Empire. After conquering Lydia, Babylon, and Egypt, Persia turned its gaze westward toward the Aegean. As the Ionian Greek cities fell under Persian rule, conflict became inevitable. In the early 5th century BCE, King Darius I sought to subjugate all of Greece. But at the Battle of Marathon, Athens triumphed, proving that Persia could be defeated. A decade later, Xerxes, Darius's son, launched a massive invasion. This time, Athens and Sparta united. At Thermopylae, 300 Spartans held off the Persian army with their lives, buying time for the Greeks. Then, in the Battle of Salamis, the Athenian navy destroyed the Persian fleet. And finally, at Plataea, the Greeks won a decisive victory. Greece had preserved its freedom. This victory filled the Greeks with immense pride. We are not subjects of an empire, but free citizens. Athens rose to leadership of the Aegean world, forming the Delian League to defend against Persia. However, by moving the League's treasury to Athens, using its funds for its own navy and monuments, Athens sowed the seeds of future conflict. Sparta soon grew wary of Athens's growing power. Their rivalry plunged Greece into the Peloponnesian War, a devastating conflict that lasted for over 30 years. Cities were destroyed, farmlands ruined, and citizens exhausted. Class divisions deepened, civic unity collapsed, and the spirit of the polis began to fade. Athens eventually fell, and Sparta's victory proved fleeting. Endless civil wars weakened all of Greece, paving the way for a new power from the North Macedonia. In 338 BCE, King Philip II defeated the Greek alliance at the Battle of Chaeronea, marking the end of the Polis era. The history of Greek civilization is the story of humanity, striving to transcend its limits. The courage of sailors who defied nature, the passion of citizens who built cities and dreamed of freedom, and the reasoned thought of philosophers who sought light between gods and men. The temples of Greece may have crumbled, but its spirit lives on, in logic, art, democracy, and freedom. Even now, the legacy of Greece breathes within us. Civilization born from the sea, a world centered on humanity. That is the civilization of Greece.